Nuremberg is Bavaria's second largest city. It has been the undeclared capital of the Holy Roman Empire for many centuries and the preferred residence of German kings. That day, our plan was to explore the old town. My son, who is not a morning person, looked like he was sleepwalking, so we were teasing him here. We entered the Nuremberg Old Town from the west side, through a short bridge over a dry moat. The entrance is part of the Nuremberg Fortress, which was built in 1140 during the reign of King Conrad III. It is considered to be one of Europe's most formidable medieval fortifications. The short tunnel leads to the plaza where you can see half-timbered structures with restaurants and museums, including this traditional beer hall dating back to the 1500s. In one corner of the plaza, you can see Pilatus' house, or Pilate's house, also known as House of the Man in Armor, because it was originally owned by an armory blacksmith. It is one of the few surviving townhouses in Gothic style built in the 1400s. In front of it is a weird sculpture of a hare crushing a man to death, done in the 1980s. Atlas Obscura says it was done in a spirit of satire. In one corner, you will notice a statue of St. George in armor defeating a dragon. A kind old man noticed us taking pictures and told us that if we go through the street by the Pilates house, a flight of stairs would get us to the gardens and get a good view of the old town. We followed his advice. The Nuremberg Castle was one of the important palaces in the Holy Roman Empire during the Middle Ages. In 1945, practically the entire castle was in ruins, when Nuremberg was almost completely razed to the ground, but important sections survived virtually unscathed. There are numerous gardens in the castle. This is one of them with a circular flower bed surrounded by maple trees. From this area, you can also have a good view of the old town. It started to rain, so we decided to go back down to the town center and follow our original walking plan. We reached a plaza with a statue of artist Albert Dürer, the artist whom I have previously mentioned in part 1 of this Germany series. Dürer was born in Nuremberg. This is a picture in one of the museums showing the statue right after World War II. We continued walking south and passed by St. Sebaldus Church, a medieval church named after the patron saint of Nuremberg, built in the 1200s. According to Wikipedia, this was originally built in Romanesque style, but changes were done later on, and the interior was remodeled in Baroque fashion in the 17th century. It has been a Lutheran church since the Reformation. The Pegnitz River runs through the old town and separates the southern and northern parts. There is an arch bridge over it called Fleisch Bridge or Meat Bridge. It was built in the 1500s, but the original stone and wood structure was destroyed in a flood. In the middle of the river, you can see a small island. There used to be a market here during the Middle Ages. That's why it's called Flea Market Island. Now it is a place to walk and relax, and also called Love Island. We walked back to have coffee. You will notice here the oxen portal, an ornate sculpture of an ox, which marked the former entrance to the medieval meat market. There is an inscription underneath the ox, which, when translated to English, reads, "Everything has an origin and a beginning, but the ox here has never been a calf." I didn't really get what it meant. After a short break, we continued walking. Behind us is a memorial to the fallen soldiers of the Franco-Prussian War of 1870. This white concrete arch is called the Way of Human Rights, a part of an outdoor monument that was opened in 1993. If you look at the right side of the screen, you will get a quick peek at the pillars. Engraved in each pillar is one article of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We arrived at the Germanisches National Museum, which is Germany's largest museum of cultural history. I wondered why there was what looked like a decal of a banana on a wall. Apparently, it is one of the worldwide series of 4,000 spray-painted bananas on art locations by artist Thomas Baumgartel, a signature mark of gratitude and appreciation to each place. Since we did not have enough time to explore the whole museum, we just chose to see pieces that are often featured in documentaries. First on the list is the captivating Nuremberg Madonna, artist unknown, carved from lime wood more than 500 years ago. In this gallery, most paintings are from the 1500s. You can see on the left side a painting based on the biblical character Judith after she beheaded Holofernes. The painting beside it is entitled Venus and Cupid and the Honey Thief. At the far wall are portraits by different artists. This one is named Madonna and Child with Parrots. In front of me is a painting called Maria on the Rose Grove. This one is called An Ill-Matched Couple. I have read that the subject of couples of different ages was a favorite theme during the Reformation. At the foreground of this picture, you will notice a wood carving called Woman in Childbirth. The description says this type of image was very popular in Swabia, a cultural and linguistic area in southwest Germany, from the 14th century onwards. It depicts the suffering of women during childbirth. The Nuremberg terrestrial globe is the oldest existing scale model of Earth, known as Erdapfel. It was created around 1492. It has many errors and not very accurate, but experts say it does tilt at the correct angle. We were comparing it to Google Maps. From the museum, we started heading back north to where we started since we wanted to join a tour of the underground bunkers. But first, we had a quick bite of currywurst and fries, which has become our go-to food. We then crossed Karolinenstrasse, a shopping street. At one end, you can see the Lorenzkirche, or Church of St. Lawrence, an evangelical Lutheran church. We reached the main market where the Frauenkirche, or the Church of Our Lady, is located. It is an example of Break Gothic architecture built in the 1300s. It was built on the site of a synagogue as the Catholic Church became Lutheran and then Catholic again. The main market is also one of the sites of Germany's famous Christmas markets. A few steps in front of the church is a 14th century fountain which has the shape of a Gothic spire, aptly named the Beautiful Fountain. It stands 62 feet tall and is decorated in gold, although original pieces are kept in the German National Museum. At this point, we were ready to go on to the underground bunker tour, but the next few tours were sold out, so I bought a ticket for the 6 p.m. tour instead. To pass time in between, we switched plans to go to a place that was supposed to be for the next day. It was not walking distance from where we were. We had to go by bus or tram and got lost a few times. We passed by Copernicus Planetarium, other small modern museums, and even got as far as the end of the tram line. A nice lady at a coffee shop helped us out as to what tram line we should get into in order to reach the documentation center. Here you see Vincent playing musical scales on his phone during a long wait at the bus stop. The place we went to is an area with the remnants of structures used by the Nazis for the rallies and propaganda. This is the only picture we took inside the former Congress Hall where the smaller rally started. We checked out the parade grounds, some parts of which are now being used as parking lots. A portion of it behind the Congress Hall was being used as spring carnival ground that day. We just peeked at Zeppelin Field from a distance and left. We rode the tram back to the old town to catch our bunker tour at 6 p.m. I noticed there were no people waiting in line outside the historic Shirtkunst bunker besides us. When I went inside to check, I realized I bought the wrong tickets. 6 p.m. was actually a medieval tour, and the meeting place was at a different area of the town. Long story short, we missed the tour. This is a Google photo of the underground bunker that was used during World War II to protect people and to store important art and royal treasures, among other things. The sun was still up, but the castle was already closed, so we just took the long way back to our hotel, passing through the castle grounds and gardens again. The half-timbered house you see in this video that is partly covered by the tree is the former house of the artist Albrecht Dürer, the beloved son of Nuremberg. It is now a museum. It was also partially destroyed in World War II, as you can see in the following picture. We went back to the old town later at night to have dinner. The atmosphere in the dark was different. It almost felt like we were in a Game of Thrones scene. We passed by the old town hall again, a building completed in 1340. It was on my list to eat at Bratwurst House, Roslin. We had our serving of sausages again. Aris tried the famous Nuremberg red beer, which, as I have read, tasted sweet and malty. Vincent ordered the farmer's duck with gravy, but he said the Bavarian duck in Munich tasted better. The Nuremberg grilled sausage is small, thin, and light in color, served with sauerkraut. Dessert was a small cake baked in a jar with vanilla ice cream and whipped cream. On our way back, we passed the Gooseman Fountain, one of the oldest fountains in Nuremberg from the 1500s. It is made of bronze depicting a farmer holding 2 geese under his arm. It is near the old town hall and St. Sebald's Church. The next day, we checked out early and dropped by the site of the Nuremberg trials. Between November 1945 to October 1946, the International Military Tribunal tried the most important surviving leaders of Nazi Germany and some organizations in this location. Most were convicted and some were given the death penalty. On our way out of the city, we saw the huge central station that opened in 1844. We left Nuremberg and all its history behind us as we continued northeast to Saxony, specifically Dresden and Leipzig.